So, John, if you were to do some kind of a skit to win an election of some kind, what would you do?
Are we talking like a parliamentary election or a high school prom election? Or
Have you got different answers for each?
I don't know, I've never really given it much thought. I mean, if it was some kind of... Because they described it as a skit in this film, but it wasn't a skit. They just did a talent number. They both just danced.
Yeah.
So if it was just to do some kind of hidden talent thing, I think I would sing Wannabe by the Spice Girls and do all the parts. I can,
all 5 parts?
Yeah, because I can do the rap word for word. So
all right.
And I think that'd be a crowd pleaser.
Go on.
Yo, here's the story for our mate to be. You want to get with me, you want to listen carefully. You've got M in the place who likes it interface. You've got G like MC who likes it on an easy V, doesn't come for free. And as for me, you'll see.
Great, well done.
Yeah. Would you vote for me?
Yeah, maybe.
Some films are fine just the way they are. Other films sometimes take it way too far. But really, how bad could it get? Let's go beyond the box set.
Welcome everybody to Beyond the Box Set, the podcast where we pitch prequels, sequels and spin-offs to films that don't have any. I'm Harry, joining me as always is John.
Hello.
And today we have a special guest on, my young girlfriend, Louise.
Hello.
Hiya. So it's Napoleon Dynamite today. Louise, why do you pick this film?
Because John said he'd never seen it, and I think it's a really good film. So it's one of my all-time sort of like faves. So I just thought, why not get John into it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good enough reason. That's, to be honest, that's the main reason why me and John pick any film is to make the other person watch it, really.
Yeah.
Whether they want to or not.
Yeah, it can go either way.
Yeah. And I think, John, you actually didn't really want to watch this movie, it sounded like, from what we talked about off air.
Not especially. It's not that I didn't want to watch it. I'll watch anything, but it's not a film that I've seen before, and it's not a film that really appealed to me. Obviously, I know about it because it's very famous. I just remember the cover really putting me off. I used to work in HMV when this film came out, and I remember when the DVD came out, and just that cover with him standing there with his dirt face, and then all the Vote Pedro t-shirts that were just everywhere, and I was just like, ugh, screw this movie. And I just never really got around to watching it. So.
And now that you've seen it, the ultimate question?
I'm sorry, guys, I hated this movie. I'm really sorry. I really hated it.
Really?
Yeah. Look, I get it. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's clearly, it's a very popular comedy movie. Obviously, it's a matter of personal taste. Comedy is...
Louise is holding a lot in right now.
Comedy is very subjective. I think I prefer the kind of comedy that has jokes and characters who go on a journey and develop. And yeah, this film, I struggled with all aspects of that.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Like I said, just a personal taste thing. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I know a lot of people love this movie. I just couldn't really get on with it.
Oh, I really enjoyed it.
Well, good. I'm glad you did.
I quite liked the lack of plot or any kind of direction. It was just like, here's a slice of regular life. Like, there was no adventure sort of thing that was going on. It was not, here's these people and then they're thrown into a situation.
Sure.
Here's this, but without the situation. This is just what they're like in this weird world.
I think... Well, when I think of like my favourite film of all time, Muriel's Wedding, which is also about like a social misfit who kind of dresses badly and behaves in ways that makes everyone not like her very much and, alienates her and stuff. But then by the end of that film, you really love her. Like, you really want good things for that character. And even though it's a comedy, it takes you on a journey with that character. I think the problem with this is that from the start to the finish of this film, Napoleon Dynamite was a person I would cross the street to avoid. And that never changed.
Wow.
So that was a problem for me. And nobody else had any kind of personality. Like, tell me 3 personality traits that Pedro had.
Louise?
Do you want it to succeed?
Yeah.
I hate being put on the spot like this.
Sorry. I don't put you on the spot. And I don't mean to shit on your movie. I know you really love this film. I didn't really laugh very much. Like,
not even at Uncle Rico?
I feel like he was doing a bad Will Arnett impression. I was like Trinity Taylor in Snatch Game. I was like, where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? I wasn't receiving the jokes. So sorry, didn't like this.
Wow, sure. I mean, just the main character's lack of personalities. That's kind of what's going for it, really. and just everybody's just weird and nothing, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I
more to say on
completely
it.
understand that that's the point of the film. I'm just saying it didn't work for me. Like there were some moments that I found like amusing, mostly involving wigs.
Yes,
Like
No,
I enjoyed Pedro's wig. I liked Deb. I thought she seemed like a character who had some kind of internal life. Like everyone else was just like, they were just really one-dimensional. And I felt like Deb at least felt like she was a recognisable human being. You know, the girl with the side ponytail.
Yeah.
So I felt like there was a version of this film where she's the star that maybe I would have liked a bit more.
Okay.
A little bit. I liked her dream of like running a glamorous photo shooting thing, whatever that thing was. I don't know, that was quite fun. And
Yeah, I enjoyed her taking photos of Uncle Rico.
she seemed to take her mission to...
He was like, that's the one.
Yeah. She seemed to take the whole getting Rico a good hairpiece thing very seriously. Which
I think the storyline's quite sweet in the regard that it doesn't go over the top with that sort of like high school camaraderie, but like when Napoleon meets Pedro, he obviously looks up to him and he's like, he likes his bike, he obviously thinks he's a cool guy. So when he wants help with the election, like he helps him win it.
Yeah.
You know, and in the end he does that skit for him because he's like freaking out and he's shaved his hair off and he's wearing a wig and he doesn't think he's going to win, so he pulls it out the bag for him. I don't know, I think it's pretty cute.
No, I'm sure yeah. I guess I would have liked to have seen more of them being friends. There's no like conversations in this film. I think I need like a conversation to happen rather than just he literally sits down and goes, so I guess we're like friends now? I was like, okay.
I mean, you didn't even laugh at the line like you're drinking 1% when you could be drinking 2. Is that because you think you're fat?
Because you're not.
No, yeah, no,
That's a conversation in a way.
sort of, yeah. Well, like I said, I can
Well, I guess it's like, teenagers are very angsty and nervous and they don't know the right things to say, so they just sort of say
I
nothing.
often think that teenagers get played in the wrong way in these kind of films because they're played by adults.
Well, I mean, that was one of the questions I
Yes,
had.
obviously, that's what I was alluding to.
How old is he supposed Napoleon?
Pedro's actually 30.
Yeah, well, I would have if you'd have told me that Napoleon was in his mid to late 30s, I would have not been surprised.
He was 20. Was it 28?
28
We
or
all looked it
something,
up.
yeah.
When we were
Oh,
watching
fair
it.
enough. Yeah,
Deb was 19, so she was like the only one that was cast kind of.
Yeah, I think Napoleon and Pedro were definitely made up to look quite bad.
Well, surely
Like,
I would
no,
hope everyone in this movie was supposed to look bad because that was certainly the outcome. Like,
I mean, you didn't even laugh at the grandma in the sand dunes.
Come on.
that was quite funny. Yeah,
Come on.
I had moments.
Did you watch it all the way through to the end?
Yes, of course.
The
I did.
cutscene?
Yeah, I saw the cutscene. Yeah.
Okay.
Was that not funny as well? The song he sang?
I can't remember what he sang. Oh, when he sings his little.
Technology.
Oh, yeah.
Not as much as you see.
I think I've never really loved cringe comedy very much, and it was just very like, oh, this is uncomfortable. Like,
Lola Fonda
Oh, I
truly
didn't think
loves
it was.
him. I don't think it's cringy.
okay.
Yeah.
Why do you love me? Why do you need me? Always and forever. We met in a chat room. Now our love can fully bloom. Sure, the World Wide Web is great, but you make me salivate.
What about LaFonda then?
LaFonda.
Did you like how ridiculous she was? Just over the top?
When she gives Napoleon the tape, I think that's really cute.
Yeah.
Here, check this out.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to ask, is LaFonda supposed to be a drag queen?
I don't know.
I didn't look up who the actress or actor was. I was getting a lot of like very masculine energy.
I don't believe so.
No, maybe it's because she's like 6 foot tall and he's like 5'3" or I don't know. It was, it seemed draggy. Like,
You seem draggy.
I mean, she didn't say anything the whole movie. She was funny, but she has like 2 lines of dialogue in the whole film.
Well, Chandrella Avery.
Okay. Well, if she's a biological woman, then I apologise for casting aspersions, but I really thought, I thought that was the joke. It's like, he's been in the chat rooms and he's fallen in love with a man and he doesn't know, and now this drag
It was
queen.
a genuinely true love story.
Yeah, I was like, the drag queen's turned up. Isn't that funny? And then, oh no, I guess it's just a woman with really unflattering makeup who's a lot taller than him.
No, I guess the joke that he was just completely punching up on this relationship that nobody thought was real in the first place.
Sure, okay, yeah.
Yeah, like when
like-
they get married and her brother's in the audience and he like puts his head in
Yeah.
his hands. 'cause,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
She's getting married to a dweeb.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed. Yeah, I got that. That was funny. I liked the whole horrified expression on the family members.
And the mum was literally like boss-eyed.
LaFonda, Lucas, you take Kipling, Ronald, Dynamite to be your lawful wedded husband, to honor in sickness and health, till death do you part.
I do.
Kipling, Ronald, Dynamite, you take LaFonda, Lucas to be your lawful wedded wife, in sickness and health, till death do you part.
You know I do.
I mean, do we want to start with try some kind of plot summary? I mean, good luck. But
There's barely any.
Yeah.
It's not a film with a plot, really.
That was the other thing. It felt really disjointed. Like it kept like starting little things and then just cutting away to something else. And I was like, well, maybe that'd be funny if you stuck with it for a minute or two. Like, there's
No,
lots
there is a plot.
go on then.
Go for it.
The plot of the film is that Napoleon Dynamite is a loner and a loser, and the film starts with him like getting on the school bus and kind of like talking to a kid that's like really loads like younger than him. Anyway, so he's not got any friends, and then it goes through like him being like kind of bullied in the corridor, getting like roughed around a bit, and you kind of think, oh god, this guy's got it a bit rough. And then you get a bit of a glimpse of his home life. So his grandma has like gone away and left him with his 32-year-old brother, who's like equally as sort of like unresponsible as Napoleon. So and then you kind of think in the home
Where
life
are their
situation,
parents? Are they dead?
perhaps.
Maybe they just live with their granny.
Okay.
So you kind of feel sorry for him there. You're like, oh great, so he's not even got any like friends or family at home. And then Deb turns up on his doorstep. She's a girl from his school, and she wants him to buy some like things off her that she's made, or wants him to get some glamour shots.
Yeah.
Anyway, he embarrasses her and she freaks out. She leaves all of her stuff with him.
I did
So-
chuckle at the line, for a limited time only, this is 75% off. That made me
I
laugh.
just like it when she just like shoves it into his hands and then runs off. That's totally something I would have done at school.
Do you know who that was, by the way?
Yeah, I worked it out.
The little
The
girl
girl
from
from
the Waterworld.
Waterworld.
Yeah, so what a career.
Yeah, so in leaving her stuff with him, that forces him to find her at school. So then in the school corridor, he sees the head teacher talking to a new student. So he just wanders over there and he's like, I'll help you out. Like, can I help him? So yeah, and then the head teacher's like, yeah, sure. So he goes off and is friends with the new student, Pedro. And then Pedro kind of like builds him up a bit, like talks to him about girls because he's like this cool Mexican guy and he's got a cool bike. And Napoleon obviously looks up to him, like he doesn't outwardly say it, but you can tell, he thinks he's cool. And then they talk about girls and stuff, and they talk about the prom. And so Pedro decides to ask like the hottest girl in school to the prom, and she says no. But he also secretly asks Deb as well. But when he tells Napoleon this, you can tell that Napoleon wanted to ask Deb himself, but didn't really have the courage. Anyway, Napoleon gives Deb's stuff back to her, and then they have the high school dance, and Napoleon asks if he can dance with Deb, so he dances with her, and you can tell like he's into it. Then after the school dance, Napoleon and Kip's Uncle Rico turns up because his grandma has broken her leg in the sand dunes on some sort of lesbian retreat.
I did have some questions about that whole
Yeah.
scenario.
Yeah.
She was well cast as well.
Yeah, it's the mother from Always Sunny, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Mac's mom, yeah. So.
Yeah, so she's on some sort of retreat, and so Uncle Rico comes and he kind of like ruins Napoleon's kind of like cool new self because he's like
I don't think he's particularly become a cool new self.
not massively, but he's
He's
grown
got-
from the original character.
He's got a couple of friends now.
Yeah,
I
and he
guess
had
so.
none before,
Okay.
or any family. Anyway, so Uncle Rico's really embarrassed. He does loads of embarrassing stuff, like tries to sell Tupperware to like all of the neighbourhood. It really cheeses Napoleon off. And there's
Okay, I also did like, maybe I laughed more than
throwing the steak at his head, the football at his head, when him and Uncle Rico and Kip are talking about like football games, and he's like, I once threw a ball a quarter mile. Like,
No, I was going to say, I really liked the bit where Uncle Rico's selling like
The boat.
Tupperware.
I want that boat.
Yeah, the woman was like, just immediately like, I want that. Like, I want that boat. Like, I will buy 32 crappy pieces of Tupperware to get
Try
this
and
boat.
break it.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
No.
Now, if you invest in the 24-piece set, I'm going to throw in a little gift.
So what's the gift?
I bet you folks don't have one of these.
That.
You see, this ain't your run-of-the-mill crapperware. These are some serious Nupont fiber woven bowls.
So if we purchase the 24-piece set, the mini sailboat is included.
That's correct, sir.
So yeah, Uncle Rico ruins everything. He's really embarrassing. After the Tupperware, he starts trying to sell herbal breast enlargement tablets. So Napoleon gets bullied a bit for that at school. Anyway, then the school election comes round, and Summer, who Pedro asked out to the school dance, is going to go
Played
for...
by Hayley Duff's older sister.
Is going to go for school president. So Napoleon says that Pedro should run against her. So he does, and they like make t-shirts, and they really go for it. But then Pedro has some sort of like freak out where he shaves all his head off, and he's like really stressed about it, and he has to do a speech about like why they should win and stuff. And obviously Summer's one is really like good, and everyone's like, yeah, vote for Summer. And then Pedro's is really bad and embarrassing, and then Napoleon's like, right, shit, okay. And then they get asked to do a skit, so Summers does hers, and it's like to Backstreet Boys or something. And then
Larger than life, yes.
yeah, and then Napoleon does a really cool dance to Jamiroquai.
Yeah. He does have moves. Give him that. That was
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like how the dance started off, he's just looking there awkward with his hands in his pockets, and then he just really snaps into action.
Oh yeah.
Well, he's practiced, hasn't he? Because
Yeah.
he bought that little something or other dance tape.
I mean, there was so much plot, I hardly had time to fit
had
in
time
that
to
part.
yeah. There was more incident than I remembered, to be fair.
You know what, Louise? That was a really good plot summary.
Yeah,
Thank
well done.
you. So then when they do the skit, it's really funny, and everyone like... It's obviously not the coolest school on earth. There's quite a lot of other dorks there, and the other dorks get really into it, and they all get up and clap Napoleon and Pedro. And then...
Pedro had nothing to do with that. I don't understand how Napoleon's dancing skills equate to Pedro being a good president.
I also thought of another funny thing about Pedro though.
Okay.
When he gets the piñata of Summer, and then he gets dragged into the office, and he's like, in Mexico, that's just what we do. Like, yeah, I mean, he doesn't have the most... But that was his dream. That's what he wanted to do.
Sure. Okay.
So Napoleon's just encouraging him to follow his dream. Anyway, so in the end, Deb obviously respects Napoleon for his dance and what he's done. She's obviously like grown to like him quite a lot. And the whole thing through the whole film is that Napoleon likes to play tug ball by himself, and then he asks Summer if she'd like to play, and if she'd like to play, and then the film ends with them playing together as obviously proper friends. That's really nice.
Okay. No, you're right. Like I said, you described that very well, and that is, like it just didn't make me laugh very much. That's all. Like, it's still a very good film.
What situation did you watch it in?
Last night, I just watched it.
Like, were you really drunk or what?
No, why would I be really drunk?
What day was it yesterday?
Tuesday.
You don't get drunk on Tuesdays, do you?
No. I was here. I don't just sit in the flat just getting massively drunk on my own and watch films. That's not
Forgive me,
how I live my life.
only ever see you when you're drunk.
It's not true. We spend loads of time together sober.
Drinking.
Well,
Not,
yes.
not yet drunk.
Sorry. Is this a stealth intervention or something? Did you watch this terrible movie just to like say you think I'm an alcoholic or something?
Oh, look at that.
Sorry,
face.
I'm joking. So.
What should we talk about next?
What did you think about it? Why is it always on me? What did you think of this film? You said you really liked it. But you'd not seen it before. Like, what were your favourite films?
No, I've seen it before this.
Well, when did you last see it?
3 or 4 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know, I just really liked the way that that guy played Napoleon. He was just always funny. Every time he was on screen, there was something funny to look at or to experience.
When he chucks the toy out of the window,
Yeah.
like, it's just
Yeah.
hilarious.
I think maybe this is a film that benefits from being watched in a group situation, maybe.
I did mention that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like not something you really watch because then you'd be like, oh, that's weird. And also maybe it's something that maybe more times you watch it because you pick up on things that keep happening. Like, I think I was just waiting for the film to be something else than what it was, and maybe that's not the best
I think I really liked it because I felt a lot of those feelings at school. I think, like I say, I think that sometimes teenagers in films are portrayed to like either like a really bad dork who's got like big glasses, big teeth, and
Isn't that just what he was though?
Yeah, but he gets cool. I don't know. They don't always get cool in the same way.
I didn't see that. I'm not disagreeing with you. This is probably my not watching it in the right frame of mind. I didn't see a journey for him. I think that was one of the problems I had, was that I just found him obnoxious, and I didn't like want good things for him. And I liked Deb because she seemed like she was a bit vulnerable, and she was. I think that's a good actress. I think she's just a good actress, and like she didn't have loads of lines, but you could sense that she had a bit of internal life. It just felt like, for me, I thought like every time Napoleon was on screen, he was just doing the exact same thing, same facial expression, same reactions, just like, no God, like. And I get that that's what teenagers are like, but I don't know. I didn't like him. I think you really need to like I need to like someone to enjoy it, unless it's going to go the other way and you enjoy hating them, and then bad things happen to them. You're like, good, yeah, that can be a really good film. But for me, I just really struggled to warm to him, to be honest. But like I said, it definitely had its moments. Right? I did like when the guy shot the cow in the face in front of all the children. That was pretty funny. That's the kind of dark comedy I appreciate.
I nearly wet myself when that happened this time around. It's weird. I just didn't quite see it all playing out the way it did. Just like that school bus comes at the very last minute.
It just comes out of nowhere, yeah.
I like the scene where he goes to work on the farm for the day. That's so grim.
Yeah. Oh, it was just so
the
disgusting.
drink.
Oh, it was gross. Yeah.
I think that's it as well. It's supposed to be about like kind of like country life, and this is that kind of school. Not like, it's not some sort of like glamorous Californian high school. It's
sure, yeah.
It's your local country bumpkin kind of high school.
Okay, so here's the thing. Like, just to give you an example, like when I'm watching the film for the podcast, whatever it might be, I always make notes. Like, I'll write down things like, oh, that was a funny scene. Oh, that was a crazy wig. Or I like that character. Stuff like that. I'll read you my list of notes for this film. Not all of them, just I'll read something else. So, first one is he mentally ill? Second one is horrible shirts. Third one is, why is everyone doing the same stupid voice? Fourth one is, what year is this set? Is this a movie about domestic abuse? The music is insane.
I love that Hammond organ. Like,
it got so distracting. It was everywhere. And then, these are sad and lonely people. Does he have crippling depression? And also, Pedro appears to be in his mid-30s. So, I think I was trying to figure out what it was trying to be, rather than like, I don't know.
Feels like you went with your preconceptions from when you were younger and stuck with it.
No, I honestly didn't go in wanting to hate it. I really came in with an open mind. It just didn't make me laugh.
I think probably what I should have done when I recommended it to you, or said we were going to do it, was, if I'd have remembered, told you a bit more about what it was. Just being like, it's a film with no plot, and the characters don't have much personality, but trust me, the comedy is really good.
Sure.
I think you have to be looking for it. I think if you see, like I say, in my plot summary, I don't know. I think there is personality there, personally.
I'm in the wrong. Loads of people love this movie. I'm not saying I'm in the right.
There's no wrong or right.
Yeah. But like,
this is the whole point of talking about it.
I'm not saying it's a bad film. I'm just saying like it didn't really work for me. But yeah, I'm trying to be other funny bits. Oh, okay. I did really, really laugh at when he drew the picture of Trisha, and then and it's got that stupid note that's like,
"You're going to the dance with that boy."
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I just liked that he wrote. What did he say? It was something really funny, like
there's more where this.
There's more where this came from. This turns over and it's this hideous portrait. So I thought that was quite funny, and then obviously because Uncle Rico is maybe shagging her mum or just selling the mum.
Just wants to
maybe, but anyway, just somehow manages to manipulate the mum into making her daughter go to the prom with Napoleon, and after which she promptly dumps him.
Yeah.
There's a lot more where this came from. If you go to the dance with me, yours truly, Napoleon Dynamite.
You know you're going to go to that dance with that boy.
Oh.
What year was this film supposed to be set in then?
Like I say, it's a bit of a backwards country bumpkin sort of high school. I think it's the 90s, probably, but or even the early 2000s. But it's not exactly like high income.
Yeah, it's also not a film that's dependent on being set at a certain time.
No, sure, I get that, but like, yeah, it felt like every song was from like 1985 or something. It was very the soundtrack was
Backstreet
really,
Boys.
Oh, I guess they did have the
Jamiroquai.
Backstreet. Okay, yeah, okay, I take it back. I was thinking of the Prom when they had like Cyndi Lauper and they had.
I mean, that's a
Forever
bit of
Young.
a classic. I've been at
sure.
many a dance with.
Hey, I'm
Cyndi Lauper.
not criticising Cyndi Lauper. That was like a light at the end of the tunnel. I was like, oh, I like this song. I can cling on to this. Yeah, no, I'm just saying it felt like, and the fashion was very all over the place. Well, fashion was all over the place. So.
Well, that was just part of the zaniness of the film. You know, the amount of people who were wearing wigs thinking they can get away with it.
Sure, yeah.
Don't think they're massively with it with fashion, let's be honest.
No, but well, clearly not. No.
But, you know, welcome to the country.
Indeed, yeah. There were lots of weird little details. I think they definitely made a lot of effort. It's obviously a low-budget film. I think they made a lot of effort on, like, the set design and stuff, and, like, there were little things about, oh, that's kind of funny. Like, when he's on the phone and it's got a ridiculously long...
Long cable! I said that to Harry. When he's in the school office and he just like walks off, like she's like, "Can I use your phone?" And then like he just walks off with the phone.
It's like, how long is this? Like, is it just wrapped and like coiled around the whole floor or something?
Well, can you bring me my chapstick? Just use the school nurse's chapstick. She's got like 5. Oh, gross.
Hi.
Is Grandma there?
No, she's getting her hair done. What do you need?
Can you just go get her for me?
I'm really busy right now.
Well, just tell her to come get me.
Why?
Because I don't feel good.
Well, have you talked to the school nurse?
No, she doesn't know anything. Will you just come get me?
No.
Well, will you do me a favor then?
What?
Can you bring me my chapstick?
No, Napoleon.
But my lips hurt real bad.
Just borrow some from the school nurse. I know she has like 5 sticks in her drawer.
I'm not gonna use hers, you sicko.
See ya.
Ugh. Idiot.
I did like Pedro's shady background with his brothers. When
The brothers are ace.
That might be the most... No, actually, the most to laugh was the portrait when he gives that picture to Trisha.
They call it low riders.
Yeah, but it's when he's like, when they're campaigning and there's the other nerd who gets beaten up by the bully. And he's like, he gives him one of those little thingies, what are they called? Like wristbands. He's like, Pedro offers you his protection. And then next thing you know, just for no reason, the brothers just like roll up in their lowrider and just shake their head at the bully and like, nope. I like that. That was good.
Yeah.
So you've enjoyed a lot about this movie. You've mentioned many things that you've enjoyed.
Yeah. I think
you're probably right that just while watching it with somebody else, you'd probably have a whale of a time with it.
Yeah, maybe I need to watch it a second time. I think maybe it's one of those things where you just need to like see the references and be like, I know where they're coming from, and be like, oh, that's what this is. Yeah.
There's so much shit on this podcast that you watched twice, and you didn't watch this one twice.
I've not had time. I've been very busy, and I wasn't really inclined to. Sorry.
What I like about this film is nothing about it is trying too hard. If anything, it's not trying enough, and I quite like that about it. It doesn't it's not. It just is what it is.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with that. It's definitely got its own point of view, and yeah, it's not trying to be like it's not trying to be like a Hollywood film, and it's not trying to like make a big statement or say anything deep. Like so, yeah.
And it's like at the time, because when it came, forgetting now, we're like a fair few years on. When it came out, like high school films were just rife. You just had like American Pie being like one of the biggest teen movies of all time. Multiple sequels, and like it's just shit.
Yeah.
It's only from the male point of view of like sticking your dick in things, and like there's like one girl and they treat her like shit. It's just. It's like completely turning that idea on its head and being like, the weirdos can win and have a good time. They're not always going to get beaten the shit out of them.
No, sure, no, and that's something I obviously support and would like to see more of. I think it's because I think the main thing for me is that I'm like a dialogue boy. I like scenes where people have like conversations, and I think this film had very few conversations.
Give me your tarts.
Yeah, like that's. I think the longest the longest extended sequence of dialogue in the whole film might have been like 3 lines. Like there was just lots of like grunting at each other and being like so So yeah, and yeah, teenagers aren't the most in real life. Don't talk in the way that like they talk in Clueless or
No, they don't.
American Pie or whatever, or Love Simon or whatever.
Cher's speeches are utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, they are.
No one has ever done a speech like that at high school.
Of course, no. Well, it's adapted from Jane Austen, so yeah, obviously.
I liked the bit when Napoleon started throwing oranges at Uncle Rico.
Mm-hmm.
He threw it at his car and Uncle Rico just going, ah! Like that.
yeah, that is really good.
Yeah, his girlish shriek was good.
What the hell are you doing, boy?
Yeah. Anything more to say, or should we move on?
No, we can move on to drinking games, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, for drinking games, the first one I've got is Drink for Moustaches.
Drink for Moustache. Yes, yeah.
Drink for wigs.
Of course, Drink for Wigs is in there.
Yeah, Drinks for Wigs is absolutely in there. Who else? So Kif has that. Kif has his moustache.
Uncle Rico.
Uncle Rico has his
Pedro.
moustache. So basically everyone but Napoleon has a moustache.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. I think at some point Deb has a milk moustache, so maybe it's like a favourite.
Yeah!
Literally everyone but Napoleon can grow a moustache.
Oh,
in
I
some
love
way.
that. When she has the like bit of bread just on her lip, I just said to Harry, like, that was me at school.
Aww.
Like someone just trying to talk to me and me being like, yeah, like food all over my face and like blissfully unaware. Like, yeah.
Which is just so real.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
No, I that's one thing best performance in the film by far. Yeah. So I had this one really upset me, and I didn't drink last night because I'm not an alcoholic. I don't drink all the time. But this really made me wish I was drinking. Drink for disgusting food. It honestly turned me sick. The food in this film was.
Do you know, I really fancied a steak after watching it.
I really fancied some raw eggs.
Oh, everything looked cold and like raw and rubbery and awful.
The opening credits is just a series of plates of food, and that all looks really good. But then everything after that, I agree with you.
It just looks rank.
Oh, this is a steak that was made 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And it's been sitting.
It's just been left out.
Yeah, the milk that's been sat there that's probably not even been pasteurised properly, and
the bit where Napoleon does like a milk tasting test, and it's like these giant 2-litre bottles of milk. One of them's yellow, and he's probably not the first person to just drink straight from the it's awful.
Yeah, and there's the tots. Who puts potato tots in their pocket and then just eats them like snack? Oh God! I mean, they're barely edible at the canteen. Because I went to I do remember grotesque school lunches and how barely edible they were. The idea of putting refried tater tots in your pockets and just munching on them.
It's obviously for comedy effect.
No, I know, yeah. But I was just like, I might have dry heaved a little bit more than once. The bit where with the battery farm with all the hens. Where it's they've got all the raw egg yolks that he's mixing up, and then there's the sandwiches and there's flies. I think I actually dry heaved. I was like, no, don't like this. My body is rejecting this whole set piece.
Yeah, I think at that point I would have quit the job there and now I'd be like, no, I'm sorry, I'm just going to go hungry today and walk home.
Yeah.
I know I keep joking saying it, but it is again, it's in say for example Clueless, Cher has a job with her dad at the lawyer firm, and then because Napoleon's a country bumpkin, he's got to go work on the farm,
Maybe I just like living in the wealthy fantasy, not in the grim reality of horrible, undercooked food in sweltering heat in Idaho or Utah, wherever this film was set.
It was Idaho.
Okay, fine.
I've got drink for every new Napoleon t-shirt.
Okay, yeah, he did have
he had a lot of t-shirts.
So much tie-dye.
What's that?
Tie-dye, yeah, they all seem like they were he made them himself. I don't know, they were all really washed out.
They all seem like a colour with just some sort of a picture on the front of something.
Yeah, but they all looked really, you know what I mean by tie-dye? They all looked really washed out and dye-y.
Probably just really old.
Maybe, yeah. Always tucked into his pants.
I like the moon boots.
They were good.
Mm-hmm. When I first saw this film, when it first came out, I wore my hair in a side ponytail for about 3 weeks.
I do love a side ponytail. Of course you did. I do love a side ponytail in a film, yeah. Yeah.
It's just so weird. Yeah. Did you get any Wes Anderson vibes from this?
Oh, 100%. 100%, yeah.
I thought that really worked for you.
This was
I found the colours really vibrant like a Wes Anderson film, and that's what I really liked about it.
And there was a lot of just weird camera work that just...
You know what? Yeah. You know what it is? Wes Anderson, it's always rich people. This is Wes Anderson with poor people. I'm just not here for that.
Yeah, no, you make a good point. Yeah.
Sure.
You see people who own hotels, or they themselves are just a millionaire family, or...
Yeah. They'd be eating nice steaks that looked appealing that I would want to eat.
Yeah.
Not horrible grey meat.
Yeah. Although I suppose Isle of Dogs, they weren't rich, they were homeless.
No, that's true. But then the dogs were poor, but the dogs were
Well turned out.
In Fantastic Mr. Fox, weren't they getting evicted?
True, well, I don't mind animals, though.
Okay.
In his human films...
So you like animals and rich people?
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
I'm going across terribly in this episode.
You are terrible, John. Louise, got a drinking game?
Drink for every time Napoleon says, ugh.
Yeah, very good.
He'd be very drunk.
Yes,
a lot of those.
Yes.
My next one is, or my last one, drink whenever anybody falls over. Actually, a lot of people fall
Some
over.
good falling over.
My favourite was Uncle Rico again when Napoleon threw an orange at him.
Smacks him right in the head.
Yeah.
There's lots of throwing of food in this film. I should have made that a drinking game. I didn't, but as well as the food being disgusting, there's lots of throwing of food stuffs. Like Napoleon seems to constantly throw fruit and veg at Uncle Rico every time he sees him.
Uncle Rico throws a steak at Napoleon when he's riding his bike.
It's a football, actually.
It was a steak at that time because it was...
it slaps him on the face.
It was Kip's steak, he just grabbed it. Like they were just having an uncle-son moment together, eating steak together. He just grabs his steak and throws it away. For no reason.
Napoleon throws food at the llama. Is it a llama?
Dina!
Dina,
get your food, you fat lump of lard!
I didn't know what that was.
It's a llama.
It's a llama,
on the farm.
Okay, sure. Yeah. But why are they feeding it meat?
Because Grandma's gone away.
Okay.
It wasn't meat, it looked like macaroni cheese.
Okay, I don't think that's what you're supposed to feed a llama.
I don't think they know.
No, true. I had lots of animal welfare concerns around this film because there was poor battery hens as well. That was,
Yes.
I don't know if this film would pass Peter's, standards.
I don't know. Who's Peter?
You bet Peter, he loves animals. P-E-T.
I got you.
Any
more?
No. Yeah, probably, but I hadn't written any down, to be honest.
Okay, so I have a few. Drink every time Napoleon runs out of frame. He seems to do a lot of just like when he gets awkward, he just like runs. And I guess Deb does it as well occasionally. So
Napoleon does it pretty much the end of every scene.
Basically, yeah, he doesn't seem to ever just like casually stroll off. It's always just a little scamper with his head down.
But he never like walks into it turns into a run.
No, it's
standing
always
still
zero
and just straight to sprint.
I mean, on the end, he does arrive on a tamed stallion. I think that it's definitely him coming full circle.
Sure. Yeah.
In his own way.
Yeah. My next one is drink for obvious lies.
Sure.
He does tell a lot of very obvious lies in this film. I did like how he used the same when he's lying about having a girlfriend who lives in Canada or whatever he says, and he uses the same quote-unquote glamour photo. Yeah, the glamour photo that Deb gave him the day before. It's like with that airbrushed blonde lady.
I like her bangs. Yeah, me too.
And drink for physical injury. Yeah, like, Napoleon seems to get punched or nutted or hit with something pretty much every other scene.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the reality of bullying in school.
All right.
That's the message you take away from this.
Okay, I didn't realise this film hit so hard for you. I'm sorry. We didn't talk about one character actually, which is what's his name? The Taekwondo. Ryan or
Rex Kwon-Do!
Rex Kwon-Do.
I mean, this is what I mean. This film is so good, it's impossible to me to remember all of the good bits. You think, I want to take a round ass kick to the face, and these bad boys, forget about it! Like, come on, it's such a good film.
Okay, I'm coming around to it. There's like you mentioned a lot of funny things. I think if I've been in the background.
Can you pull me into town? Like when he just pulls him on the rollerblade.
Now his wife is definitely a man, right?
Oh my god, what is your obsession? She's on roids. Of course she looks like a man.
But the actor must have been like. I'm concerned. Like,
that's what roids does to you.
But where did they find her?
Women who are bodybuilders take testosterone. That's a thing.
I know, but she was really like.
Wow, John.
I'm not trying.
Wow.
I'm just.
Are you saying that women can't have muscles?
No, women can.
It sounds like that's what. I don't believe you would say that.
Can women have those muscles? Maybe not. Maybe that is what I'm saying.
Wow, John. Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't a value statement. I
think that you should just reassess your life choices, really.
But yes, Rex Kwon-Do, that's a very good bit. And when just Kip comes out, he's like, what a rip off. Like, not doing it.
Hold the wrist. The other wrist. No, my other wrist.
And he's just like he just slaps him off.
No. There's lots of, actually, yeah,
ow, jeez.
Drink for slapping, actually. There's lots of random slapping in this film. Right?
Yep.
Great, okay, so should we move on?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, listeners, if you've enjoyed this episode or any other episode, then you can show your support by going to patreon.com/beyondtheboxset and subscribing to us there for as much or as little as you think we're worth. $2, $15,000 a month, whatever you feel like.
Oh, we've not brought up the $15,000 window in a while.
No, I think it's.
I think we should push that harder.
Yeah, because no one subscribed in a while, so for 15,000. So
we got a new subscriber
this
week.
Pardon?
We got a new subscriber this week.
15,000?
No, for 2. So I'm just saying. At the lower end, but we have had a new subscriber. So.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
We'll have to get them on soon because once a month we get a Patreon on to pick an episode for us.
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
Hi, you got something to say?
I'm a Patreon.
Oh. Well, why didn't you do the talking for me then? Little Miss Patreon.
No.
So,
Little Miss Patreon.
Sorry,
the Mr. Man series has really gone commercial. Little Miss Kickstarter. And
my book won't come out if you don't give me $2.
So once a month we get a Patreon on to choose the episode for us. They don't need to come in person, but Louise insisted. If you want to, you can Skype in, or you don't need to appear at all. We'll just do the film for you if that's what you prefer. You're the boss. You pay the wages.
Yeah. And usually I'm more enthusiastic about them than... I won't always take a big dump on them.
Also, every month, every patron gets a 30-second advert slot on the main show where they can talk about anything they want, their own podcast, their own business. Louise, you've got a business, kind of?
No, I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, do you want to talk about something else for 30 seconds? Why don't you talk about me for 30 seconds?
No, thank you. I'd like to decline that offer.
Okay.
Thank you for having me, though.
Okay, well, John will have to edit something else in. And the third thing you get, as if you become a Patreon, you get a bonus show called Beyond the Box Set, where we review cinema releases. I believe tonight we're going to finally go and see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Finally, hopefully.
And we'll have a review for that one out quite soon.
Yes.
So, yeah, for all that, go to patreon.com/Beyond the Box Set.
Indeed.
All right, let's start pitching sequels. John, do you want to go first, or shall I go first? And I'll put Louise in the middle.
I can go first if you want.
Sure, do it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, I did initially consider taking like the horror movie route and just having them all get murdered because I thought, like, what do you do with a film when you don't particularly enjoy the characters? Like,
kill them all.
Horror movies is a good opportunity to kill them. But I didn't go down that route. I decided to actually go for a proper sequel pitch. I thought about. I actually did think about, where these characters might be. So my sequel is called Napoleon's High School Reunion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
It is set 15 years after the original because this film came out in 2004. What year that means this sequel is set in remains a mystery.
Like even to you now, having written
to
this?
me, having written this, it remains a mystery. So maybe it should be deliberately like
out of date.
Yeah, like it should be
like it's gone 15
vague.
years into the past. It's like 1980.
Yeah, maybe they've regressed even further. Yes, exactly. That would be fun. Anyway, who knows? But it's 15 years after the original film. Pedro, Debs, and pretty much everyone else in the class of whatever, 2004, whatever year that might have been, they've all long since moved away to college and left town, basically. But Napoleon has stayed in town, and he has become a science teacher at the same school at which he attended.
Sure.
So basically, his life has not moved on in the slightest. His colleagues don't really like him very much. His students have no respect for him. His life is completely unchanged. He's still quite depressed. He's living in the same house with Kip and LaFonda and their 7 children. I feel like they would have had
yep, that makes
many,
a lot of
many
sense.
children. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, his life's in a bit of a rut, basically. As the 15-year anniversary of his graduation approaches, he volunteers to run the planning committee for the high school reunion, which nobody else has much enthusiasm for, so he just kind of takes it on. I'm thinking the sequel's going to have a similar theme to the original, where it's not going to be very plot-heavy, it's just going to, like, be incidents, maybe. But, like, so, yeah, if you think of it as tonally similar to the original.
Sure.
So, yeah, he starts setting up the 15-year high school reunion for the school. He doesn't have any contact details for anyone, because nobody wanted to stay in touch with him. So he's forced to track them down via a combination of online stalking and private investigation, for which he reluctantly enlists the help of Uncle Rico. So he'd make a good private investigator.
Yes. I mean, not a good one.
Not a good one, but he would conceivably be a private investigator.
He'd give it his all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's them working together.
I'd watch that TV show.
Yeah. I actually think this is pretty sellable, to be honest.
If you say so yourself.
Yeah, if I do say so myself. An improvement on the original, maybe. Who could say? Not me. Anyway, so they start with Pedro, obviously. Now, Pedro has sadly been deported back to Mexico.
Oh.
You know, that's the way the American government is these days. So Napoleon and Rico must mount a daring rescue operation to sneak over the border. Neither of them have valid passports because I don't get the sense that they do a lot of international travel. Yeah. So they have to sneak across the border to track Rico down. And it turns out he's now the mayor of a small town just outside Tijuana. So he's kept up his political career, basically. He's not particularly interested in coming back to Idaho, but he soon changes his mind when he's exposed for corruption and forced to make a swift getaway after falling foul of a local drug cartel. So like maybe that's like Napoleon and Rico accidentally get him exposed for like, you know, taking bribes or something. And then the drug cartel comes after him and he's like, they have to make a run for it, basically. So I'm just thinking that Napoleon and Rico are going to be going around just causing chaos for everyone that they meet.
You
basically.
idiots!
Yeah, exactly. So then that forces Rico to join them, and they have to somehow get back across the border to America again.
Sure.
And then Rico's just on the lam, essentially. But at least they've got him now. So. So next they have to seek out Deb, obviously, who she moved to New York after college and has become a successful photographer for lifestyle magazines. You know, there's ones where like celebrities do like, here's my gracious drawing room, like, you know, just showing their house and stuff.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that was what she was doing. She liked to compose photos. So I thought, let's say she succeeded. She got onto it. She also has absolutely no desire to attend the reunion because her life has gotten a lot better since she left that town. But again, Napoleon, Pedro, and Rico kind of gate crash her life, and actually gate crash a very high-end photo shoot that she's doing for a magazine with Barbara Streisand.
Okay.
Causing her to get fired.
Oh.
Yeah. You don't fuck with a Streisand photo shoots. So she winds up being fired, and so she has nothing better to do, and she also reluctantly agrees to attend the reunion. Okay. The only other characters I could think of for this like wild road trip to recruit other characters, because there's actually not that many young characters in the film. So I thought, well, we're Trish and Summer, the two popular girls. So I was like, okay, they've not gone too far. So they've just moved to the next town over, and they run a small dance studio now where they teach children inappropriate dance routines to popular chart hits.
Of course, dance moms.
Because they do the whole, you know, there's the larger than life dance routine that they do at the presidential election thing.
And they do the love it is a reason.
Yeah. There's a moment randomly where they're kind of doing sign language dance.
Yeah, sign language. Yeah.
The Rose by Bette Midler, which I didn't understand, but sure. I thought maybe they continued doing that. Anyway,
I would have thought you'd love, but
I like the idea of it, but then it's cut out really quick. I thought they were going to get progressively more ridiculous, but it's just like, oh, they're dancing to the Rose, that's weird. Oh, and then they moved on, and then we're never going to mention that again. Like, I don't know.
It's just supposed to be like an embarrassing high school moment.
Yeah, I get it.
It's like when they do larger than life, and it's not sexy at all, and then like the boyfriends in the audience like, woo, yeah, but it's like actually the dance moves are like glorified funky chicken.
Sure, yeah.
I always wondered in that dance sequence, why was she not in the centre? Like, she was just dancer number 2 to the left.
Do you mean Summer?
Summer, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's her thing.
True. Well, I mean, the election was Pedro's thing, and yet Napoleon was the one who did all the dancing.
I think she was probably, you know, showcasing teamwork.
Okay. An important
I'm sure that's what she believed in.
Yeah. So they're actually quite bored. So they're very much eager to attend this reunion. And they also ask if Uncle Rico is still in the herbal bust enhancement business. Because now it's been 15 years, they kind of need it. So, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the night of the big dance comes, they manage to get most of the rest of the students back to the town to turn up. And so, much like the original, it's going to be, you know, very kind of low rent, just a, you know, badly decorated dance hall, and, you know. Anyway, all the adults turn up. However, disaster strikes when the sound system that Uncle Rico has rigged up for the event blows a fuse, leaving the dance floor uncomfortably silent. So it's all like everyone's just staring at each other. Nobody knows what to do.
It's the nightmare of any kind of disco or nightclub.
Really
like when
is.
the music stops and like, oh God, what
Now
is
to
this?
talk, yeah.
Where am I? Why am I here? This is awful.
Yeah, exactly. We've all been there. So Napoleon decides to break...
It happens every night you leave it. Because they have to turn it off at the end. And then they don't do cold turkey. They don't like do a nice last song in places I go to. They just cut it off.
What places do you go to?
Awful places, John.
When have you last been at a nightclub?
Probably with you.
Oh, the Penny. Oh, okay.
When it finally gets to 5 a.m. or whatever.
Yeah, it's the only place I ever go to, and I'm never happy about being there. And I'm never happy I went.
Well, I can't wait for us to go again. So Napoleon breaks the tension by walking into the middle of the dance floor and silently recreating his iconic canned heat dance.
But silently, though?
Yeah, there's no music. He's just doing it to complete silence.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And again, there's going to be like an awkward moment of everyone being like, what are we watching? But then the whole audience erupts into cheers just in time for the sound system to kick back in. And then everyone enjoys a good old dance to something cheesy and upbeat from the 80s.
Does the sound system kick back in, like, with canned heat at the exact point it should be in his dance?
No, I think he finishes the whole dance in silence, and then everyone cheers, and then like it kicks back in with like something a bit more 80s dancey, like I don't know, Uptown Girl or something, you know.
Sure.
Just something that gets the crowd going. Uncle Rico could be like on a ladder, just like, you know, with a wrench, just, you know, trying to fix everything. So.
Is he getting electrocuted in the background? Is he like holding two
Yes.
wires together?
Absolutely,
Like
yes.
the current's passing through, the music's passing
Perfect.
through.
The wig balancing in the wind.
He actually dies. Yeah.
He died for disco, baby.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, perfect. He goes back to the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He sacrifices himself to take it back to the 80s. Yeah.
Okay, great. But that's all in the background.
And then
it's like later on in the film he comes back and he's got a grey wig on.
Well, no. The post-credit in the original was a wedding. The post-credit in this one is Uncle Rico's funeral.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, his funeral, but then like he turns up.
Oh no, he's dead.
Because he went to the past and then he comes back.
No, he's dead. I'm killing him.
Hey, you put time travel in my head. I can't let it go.
Anyway, actually, I forgot I already had a post-credit scene, so maybe there's two. Okay. This is going to be a mid-credit scene. So yeah, I thought it was going to end with a triumphant 80s dance, basically, at the prom.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think there should be a scene where Napoleon is slow dancing with Deb, and then he gets down on one knee and asks her to marry him.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, absolutely not. And then she goes back to New York and never speaks to him again.
No.
Sorry, I just think it's realistic. She got out of it. She escaped.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it'd be a very Napoleon thing to do, to be like, to propose to her, like, out of nowhere, when she's shown no interest whatsoever. Like,
does he then go, ugh, and run away?
Yeah, and then he goes like, lucky, or whatever, yeah.
Well, probably unlucky.
Unlucky, yeah. Whatever.
I love that line.
Yeah.
Lucky. Yeah, he just makes a noise, yeah. And then we leave Napoleon pretty much where we found him. And yeah, that's the end of Napoleon Dynamite's high school reunion.
Okay, very good.
Excellent.
I mean, that sounds quite depressing, but yes.
Oh, it's pretty funny. We're going to play all the death and destruction and misery for laughs, you know.
Sure thing.
So Louise is now opening up her very neatly written up, typed up, I should say, sequel heart.
So in Napoleon Dynamite, if you've seen the film, there's various notes passed between the characters about the
I
prom.
like how you're currently pointing your note at the microphone. It's not a camera.
For my homework, I put sequel, and then I put a heart around it, and I put an exclamation mark with a heart, and that's what they do in the film. So I thought that was a cute touch.
We appreciate your attention to detail.
Thank you. Right, so mine's Napoleon Dynamite, the college years. Napoleon, Deb, and Pedro all graduate high school. Deb and Pedro go on to attend Idaho State University, but Napoleon stays at home to help look after his grandma, who's still suffering from that dunes accident. And he's looking after the farm as well, because they kind of like live on a farm.
Now, Grandma is suffering from the dunes accident. However, is she still riding a quad bike over the dunes? I feel like nothing's going to stop that woman.
Yeah.
Can she be riding like an electric wheelchair over the dunes instead?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, I guess, okay.
Got like
so
a
you
pimped out electric wheelchair that's going pretty fast.
You could insert a scene of like them all throwing the hats up, graduating high school, and then Napoleon turning up at home and his grandma being like, "You gotta look after Tina and the farm. I'm going back on the dunes." Like, and him being like, "But whatever." Like, so maybe he wanted to go off and do his own thing too, but he doesn't really feel like he can. And Kip's living the life with LaFonda, you know, somewhere. So it's down to Napoleon and maybe Uncle Rico intermittently to look after the farm.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So when they're leaving to go off to university, so they're saying their goodbyes, Napoleon struggles to show Deb his feelings. And she ends up becoming quite a bit closer to Pedro because they both go to the same university.
Mm-hmm.
Napoleon, sort of dreams of becoming a comic book artist, taking his ligers to the next level. That's the lion and the tiger mixed together.
Mm-hmm. In case you didn't know. But he fears his work will never really get picked up or noticed because, his only two friends have gone off and left him. He's kind of back to the original Napoleon Dynamite from the first film. He's down in the dumps. He doesn't really feel like he's got anybody, even less than he did before, because Kip's not even there anymore. Even he has moved on.
Oh.
So tensions are strained between Napoleon and his friends. One night he calls Deb, who's at a big frat party, and she is kind of not really paying much attention to him on the telephone, and she's doing a beer bong, and there's loads of noise in the background. And he ends up just hanging up the phone on her in frustration because she's not really there for him anymore. She's doing her own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Napoleon's birthday approaches, and he kind of believes that he'll be spending it alone with his grandma, who's back from the dunes. Little does he know that Deb and Pedro have organised a surprise birthday for him at the local comic book shop. So the party kicks off and having a really good time. It's kind of, not dissimilar from the school dance at the school. It's like music. They're kind of catching up a bit. And at the party, Pedro announces to Napoleon that he sent some of Napoleon's drawings to Image Comics. So they who do like The Walking Dead and Saga and loads of kind of like indie comics.
Mm-hmm.
And Image Comics were interested to meet him and discuss a graphic novel idea with him. And the Ligra. The Ligra.
The Ligra.
Yeah, the Lion and the Tiger. Liger. Yeah. Pedro and Deb persuade Napoleon to go to the meeting, and Image offer him the chance to write his own novel. The end credits are pages from the novel.
Oh, okay. Nice. So he finally finds his calling. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always like reading the IMDb trivia page for any film that we do. And there's always one that makes me laugh. And the one that made me laugh for this one was like throughout the film, Napoleon draws pictures of ligers. Ligers really are the product of I think a male tiger and a female lion, or vice versa. Anyway, they're a real thing. However, in real life, they do not have mad magic skills.
There's also loads of like weird cartoons. There's some sort of like kind of like He-Man looking character,
and
there's like a unicorn lady like with big boobs and a big ponytail.
He's a very talented artist.
It's the fantasy. His comics have come a long way since then. But yeah,
great. I would hope so.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah.
But again, it's like there's not much plot there, but they'd flesh it out with like jokes and weird things. That
when you said that the surprise party was going to be in a comic book store, I thought you were going to go in another direction and have Napoleon join the cast of The Big Bang Theory.
Oh God, no!
Because I feel like him and Sheldon would get on very well.
Perhaps so.
Or very poorly.
Yeah, like the complete opposite. But no, that would be an interesting one.
Yeah.
Okay, so go on to mine. I've pitched a TV show.
Oh, okay. Is it The Big Bang Theory?
No. Okay. Following the lives of the main three characters.
I was going to ask if you could pitch TV shows.
Oh, yeah.
Pitch whatever you want, yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
Sorry, Carol.
Now you know for the future. So it's going to pick up when they all get into college, as we all seem to have done.
Mine was a reunion, so technically,
Okay, sure. Well, this is only season 1 anyway.
Oh, okay.
So,
oh, good lord. TM.
Picks up when we're all in college, in a bigger town than before, and we follow a more intense kind of campaign for Pedro to once again become class president.
So they've all graduated, moved to a larger town, and now Pedro is running to be president of a larger community.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like university or whatever.
Great, sure. Campus, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Campus president. I don't know if that's a thing, but sure.
And so instead of the gangsters just pulling up in their cars to scare off bullies, well, that kind of thing happens in bigger towns in America.
Mm-hmm.
They will actually show weapons as threats.
Oh, great.
Everything's bigger and badder.
Okay. Like as any sequel should be. Just bigger, badder, more. Yeah.
Yeah. And instead of piñatas, Deb will actually organise a sorority party for all the other people running for president, spike their drinks, and send them to a fraternity next door.
Okay.
Again, bigger and badder.
Okay. Thanks. That sounds
truly sinister.
Grim, yeah. I didn't think Deb had that in her. She seemed like a nice girl. Sure.
She was, but then she got with Pedro.
Oh, okay.
At the end of the season, instead of a single dance performance by Napoleon, it'll be a full dance-off with many entries.
Okay. What, including Deb and Pedro, or are we talking Napoleon versus a bunch of
yeah, maybe, but
dancers,
it's all like sponsored by Pedro's campaign.
Oh, I see. Okay, so he's
so it's like, hey, you enjoy this this night of dancing to Jamiroquai songs?
Sure.
Vote for Pedro.
Okay. Still going to be Jamiroquai.
Yeah,
just endlessly hip Jamiroquai.
Yes, it's all in the name of ending conflicts in college and the good vibes of Jamiroquai.
Okay, great.
In season 2, this is going to be set a few years later. They're all out of college now. And Pedro he's enjoying his political campaign. He's now going to run for Congress.
Oh God, here we go. It sounds like that TV show Election that's coming up. Have you been watching?
I've heard about it now.
It's from American Horror Story guy Ryan Murphy, and it's following one kid from like his class president's election to his college president election to joining this. It's like one kid's journey to be like a corrupt American politician, and every season's apparently going to be like one election that he fights from like college through to.
Okay, sure.
I guess he's going to end up being Donald Trump or something.
Sounds repetitive.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. It's a typical Ryan Murphy thing. It's got Jessica Lange in a crazy wig.
Okay.
So yeah.
Oh, I thought she'd kind of retired.
Yeah, she's back. Anyway, I'm sorry, I interrupted. So now they're running. Now the season 2, he's running for local government or national government, maybe. Yeah.
Congress, whatever.
National government. Then
whatever that is.
Yes.
With Napoleon as his assistant, and Deb is there too.
Deb's just there.
Yeah.
Head of press.
Pardon?
Head of press, maybe.
Sure, yeah, something like that. So polls don't actually show that he's doing very well, and Napoleon, who is doing his best assistant work, suggests that it actually could be because of his Mexican name, which doesn't appeal to American voters very well.
Sure, yeah.
Duh.
Probably would be true. So Pedro decides to ask Deb to marry him and take her last name.
Oh, okay. Very modern.
Yeah.
Doesn't change the fact his name's Pedro.
That's a good point. Yeah, you don't change your first
Well,
name
then
when
he'll
you
just
get
go
married.
as Mr.
Mister.
I'm not necessarily picturing the most, the best thing. It's supposed to be in this front. Anyway, so after he proposes and she says yes, he finds out that, weirdly and unconveniently, her last name is actually Sanchez.
Oh, great.
So their names don't change. The solution to this, which
So
Napoleon
they've been
offers,
friends for now years and he's never found out her last name?
Yes.
Okay, great. That would make sense.
The solution to
is
this
interesting.
that Napoleon comes up with is to offer his last name as an extravagant wedding present, as he's known for.
Oh, okay. So now he's Pedro Dynamite.
Mm-hmm. And she's Debbie Dynamite.
Debbie Dynamite. Right, okay,
And
so
I'm not entirely sure that Napoleon Dynamite is actually Napoleon Dynamite's real name.
They did say
Yeah.
it in the film. They definitely did. I think it might have said it at the wedding. Kip Dynamite. They said, like, do you take Kip Dynamite to be your lovely husband?
So she was LaFonda Dynamite.
I guess, yeah.
Wow.
Hey, I didn't write the ridiculous surname,
No.
but I'm going to go
Pretty
with
sure I
it.
just said, do you, Kip, take... Anyway, go.
Kipling, Ronald, Dynamite, you take LaFonda, Lucas to be your lawful wedded wife. In sickness and health, till death do you part.
You know I do.
So Pedro then relaunches his election campaign as Mr. Dynamite, and it does much better, but still isn't winning. So Deb comes up with the idea that they should do what they did in college and do a dance-off for his election.
Okay. A nationally televised dance-off.
So they start off a TV show called The Dynamite Dance-Off with Mr. Dynamite.
Okay.
And despite Pedro and Deb hosting it with their dulcet tones, Napoleon's directing really brings the show together, and ultimately it brings Pedro's popularity up enough that, along with a bit of Mexican gang threats, he wins his election and becomes a congressman.
Okay, great. Well,
So he's got the Mexicans working to kind of take down his competition, as always.
Sure. So yeah,
Well-
can we have like some cutscenes of his brothers just like beating up all the other congressmen?
That sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Okay, so then season 3, the final season.
Oh, okay, thank God.
Thanks.
Sorry.
Season 3 takes place a few years later when Pedro decides he wants to become president
Oh, great.
of the United States of America. He's gotten close with President Kip, Napoleon's brother,
Okay.
who...
He's already been the president.
Yeah, he's already been... things go well for Kip.
Okay, wow, okay, sure. That's a...
Don't give me that look. The film's weird. I've done a weird sequel.
Okay. I'm trying to imagine Kip giving like a presidential address.
Yeah, I know.
I think it would make more sense if LaFonda was the first female president and Kip was like the first man.
Sure, we can switch it, but probably doesn't really... I feel like LaFonda would be too strong as a president.
You need a weak president.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, fine.
So Napoleon has organised a fake conflict at the Mexican border
Mm-hmm.
using Pedro's gangster friends. The Mexicans, apparently, they say, they want to get onto the Dynamite dance-off.
Okay.
Pedro convinces a very stressed-out President Kip that he is no longer the right man for the job, and that Pedro, Mr. Dynamite himself, is the only person who can calm the situation. So President Kip steps down, and President Pedro Dynamite is sworn in as the President of the United States, with Napoleon as his Chief of Staff, and Debbie Dynamite as his First Lady.
Oh gosh.
This is like some sort of like Breaking Bad, The West Wing crossover.
Yeah,
like,
I was thinking of the West Wing.
Mexican gangsters / The West Wing.
I'm nearly
like-
finished. The Mexican conflict finishes immediately, as it was fake anyway.
Yeah.
And then we get a few episodes of them as the first family. Deb gets pregnant. Pedro, now that he's reached the highest level of government, has nothing to quench his thirst for more power, so he's quite intense about trying to invade other countries.
Thank God the only female character, really lived her dream and fulfilled her purpose.
Just ended up pregnant, yeah.
I'm doing a thing here. So when he does eventually try to invade the other countries and increase his importance in the world, the US is thrown into chaos, and Napoleon, the only person who seems to be able to see sense here, he has lost complete trust in Pedro and starts to see him as a danger. So he conspires against him, and eventually he kills him in the Oval Office, murders him with an envelope opener.
So it's become House of Cards.
Yes, and that's the end. I called it House of Dynamite.
House of Dynamite. Okay. Can we have?
I essentially ripped off House of Cards.
You very much did. Can we not? Can we have lots of like House of Cards-esque like turns to the camera, like narrating to breaking the fourth wall?
Totally, yeah.
Because Pedro like never.
Actually,
spoke.
that'd be really good from all their different characteristics.
Give them all the perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why not change?
I made Debbie pregnant because Robin Wright Penn was pregnant with Frank's gelled in the end.
She also got to be the president, though. Maybe she should be the one who kills her and takes over.
She
Napoleon gets stabbed. She stabs Napoleon. Like, maybe Pedro dies off screen because the actor touches some children or whatever it was Kevin Spacey allegedly did.
I didn't really want to lean into that route, but yeah.
Sure.
I think I wanted to lean into the original plan for House of Cards, which I could only guess.
I like the idea.
John didn't love a film that I love, but he didn't ruin it.
Yeah.
He went with it for the...
Alright, sorry I based mine off a TV show about a paedophile, but...
Alleged.
Allegedly.
Yeah. I've got to protect our legal rights.
I know.
No. I think it'd be I think it'd be funny to. Do think it would genuinely be funny to have like the House of Cards set up with the constant wall breaking.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously in House of Cards, everyone speaks in like theatrical tones and like, speeches. But instead, it's just like,
yeah,
just look at the camera and be like, look, like just do that. But then I do think that Deb should be the one to end up killing. I think Pedro should kill.
Sure, switch it around. Yeah,
I think
Pedro should end up pregnant.
Maybe, yes. I think Pedro should die off screen. Deb should come to power. Napoleon should try and overthrow Deb, and then Deb should stab Napoleon with an envelope.
Sure, you know what? That is better.
Yeah. But no, I think that's a good, interesting crossover.
But yes, so that's House of Dynamite.
House of Dynamite. Like, it sounds very unsafe. House of Dynamite. Like, I wouldn't want to live in that house.
Again, I didn't make the name.
True. Well, you did.
But no, I didn't. It's Napoleon Dynamite.
No, but you squashed them together. Yeah.
But the credits of every episode would be Dynamite by Jamiroquai.
Oh God, so many Jamiroquai songs. Okay. Did this whole idea come from that?
What?
That you wanted to make that Jamiroquai song part of it?
No.
Okay, fine.
Any idea would be able to have that because it was Napoleon Dynamite. It's
you need a song. You need a song called.
You
need a song called Dynamite, though.
Well, yeah, he has a song. Whatever. Move on.
Okay, fine. Very good, Harry.
Thank you.
Okay.
I don't believe you think so, but
no, it's good.
You don't seem to like anything this episode, and I don't like you this episode. So let's move on.
Wow, mean. I tried. So are we going to get to listener submissions?
I believe we are. Okay. So Carl Django Reganit.
You probably closed it the first time. Nobody's called Reganit.
Says a sequel where they go on a school trip with Uncle Rico as their bus driver. Okay. The bus breaks down in the middle of nowhere. Then a monster comes up and starts picking them off, feeding off their fear and taking specific body parts under... Wait, that's Jeepers Creepers. My bad.
Okay. Interesting take, sure.
That works, and I guess that's kind of what you'd like to do.
Kill all, yeah.
Joseph Busby says, many years later, Pedro is a small-town mayor running for Congress when Napoleon comes back into his life. Pedro would be the main character, and it would be an outside observation of Napoleon as a character and a more modern dramatic take on it. Jason Schaff says, Napoleon is a pro-fisher and is on his way to becoming the fishing champion, but an unfortunate...
Fishing as in, like, angling?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess.
Sure.
But fishing is in internet scouts.
Spelled with an F, not a PH.
Yeah, sure.
But an unfortunate accident while beating his hook has injured him, and now he's afraid to compete. It'll take all his friends coming together to convince him to compete again.
Beating his hook, is that a euphemism?
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. Sounds it.
Was that it?
No. But how will they be able to balance their lives, Kip's rap career, Pedro's political campaigning, Deb's glamour shop business, and Rico's job announcing the local high school football games, and help Napoleon all at the same time? All these answers and more in Napoleon Dynamite 2, Back in the Halibut.
Oh, back in the halibut as a fish. I mean...
Yeah, right. I've never heard of that fish.
Okay. Well, I don't know what...
Where did he get the idea that he's a fish?
Yeah. I guess they just liked a version of Back in the Habit. Yeah. Oh, no. There is a scene where he says, I caught this fish for you. There's this really good fish for you.
Caught a sweet bass.
I caught a sweet bass.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
so I guess it's calling back to
I knew there was something.
Okay, yeah. So, okay. Cool. No.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Like it. Very good.
Ross Burton has done the most Ross Burton answer ever. Napoleon Gelignite or Napoleon Semtex, I'm assuming are two different kinds of explosive.
Yes, they are.
That only a scientist would know.
Well, I'm no scientist, but I've heard of Semtex.
By scientist, I mean that in the biggest of quotes.
Sure, yeah. Air quotes.
Air quotes, yes.
Great.
Bonzo Pizarro says, Uncle Rico and Kip travelogue series, selling Tupperware cross-country. 26 episodes, they sell no Tupperware and fail to travel back in time. How was that thing? I'd binge watch the hell out of that.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's the best one so far.
Yeah.
Well done to you.
Colin Elliott says Mussolini Dynamite.
Sure. Another famous European dictator.
Ah, yes.
Yes, Mussolini.
Knew that was familiar.
Yes.
And the last one I've got here, from Simon J. Locke, the sequel takes our main characters from rural Iowa to Australia. Napoleon Vegemite.
Is that an Australian term?
I think Vegemite is Marmite for them.
Oh, okay, sure.
It is, yeah.
Very good. Okay, I have some as well. Dan Costa said, "The year is 3071. The Earth is a scorched wasteland. The movie opens with two scavengers searching the ruins of ancient cities for precious metals and resources. While digging through the rubble, they find Uncle Rico's time machine. Using their ion-boosting stabilizers, they boot up the machine. It miraculously starts working and zaps them back to our present day. Napoleon Dynamite is now a father with little dynamites of his own. With the help of his kids and some old friends, Napoleon will teach his friends from the future how sweet life can be."
Nice.
Very good.
I can't believe we didn't even talk about that scene earlier.
The time machine scene.
Oh, it kills! Like, Uncle Rico comes in and he's all disorientated.
Could have told you about that.
Buy that from eBay or something. Bless. Stephen Castleton said, "Not a sequel, but a prequel following Uncle Rico through his college years and finding out if he really did throw that football over those mountains." Mark Dukoff has a similar idea to yours, Harry. Napoleon runs for president and then wins.
Great.
Yeah.
Less detailed than me.
Less detail, but similar concept.
Was it a better idea? Who knows?
Who can say? Marty Samocha said, "Let's just go back in time and stop people from making the first one." So I guess Marty was
on your side.
An equally as good sense of humour.
Yeah. And then Andrew Malwitz also said, "I don't know, same crap as the first one. Disjointed scenes of him just doing stuff. Maybe he's ordering a burger or something." So, yeah.
Oh, he's mad. Why are you mad, though?
Clearly this is a Marmite film. So I feel vindicated.
I feel like you're highlighting the bad comments.
The only
are these all written by @J Lucas?
I'll have you know that was by Ponducus.
Yeah. Good quick fake naming.
Yeah. They're the only two negative ones. I've got lots of genuine sequel ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Carey said Uncle Rico's Wild Ride. Ollie Brady said no Napoleon Dynamite. So that might be a negative, I don't know. Yeah.
Mm.
On Twitter, @TheCinemaGuy said Napoleon and Kip get the time machine working. Wanting to travel to 1982, they end up in 1985, where they find Marty and Doc to help them to get back to 1982.
Cute.
Before having an insane adventure as they help a young Rico to get into the championship in the fourth quarter and change the future.
Sure.
So I guess it's like Back to the Future 2 meets Napoleon Dynamite, sure. And finally, very similarly, Josh @Jaffe, I wouldn't begin to know how to pronounce this, Josh @JAFYTCZYK said Uncle Rico...
Give it
Oh, God almighty.
Oh, Jafut's kick.
Yeah, Jafut's kick, yeah. Jafut's kick, yeah. So Jafut's kick said Uncle Rico prequel telling the story of him not getting into the game in the fourth quarter. So lots of ideas for Uncle Rico origin stories.
Could have won it, I swear to God.
That name would score very well in Scrabble.
Yeah,
what if you could play?
Yeah. Great, yeah. So those were our sequel ideas for Napoleon Dynamite. If you have any sequel ideas for Napoleon Dynamite or any films we've done in the past, please let us know. We are Beyond the Box Set. You can find us at beyondtheboxset.com. Our podcast is available on all good podcasting platforms, including iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Acast, Google Play. You name it, we're on it. If we're not on it, let us know and we will get on it. You can also find us on social media at Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Just search Beyond the Box Set or @Beyond the Box Set on Twitter. And our Patreon is patreon.com/Beyond the Box Set. And Harry, next week we are having another Patreon on, I believe.
2 in a row?
I think so, yeah. Well,
what?
I know. Well, I didn't schedule this, but yeah, that's how it's fallen out.
That's crazy.
So yeah, next week we're having another returning guest as well. That is Daniel Tickner.
Hey!
He's going to be joining us from all the way over in Australia to discuss the classic...
Wow, that's a long flight.
Yeah, the classic musical, Oliver! Exclamation mark.
Oliver?
Oliver. Never before has a boy wanted more. Yes. So,
oh!
Charles Dickens' classic tale, Oliver.
Yes.
That'll be something a little bit different for us, I think.
Great.
So yeah, tune in next week for Oliver, if indeed you want some more.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, sorry, Louise. Thanks for coming on, Louise.
Peace out.
Thank you for coming on and submitting this high-quality motion picture that I very much enjoyed watching.
Feel free to slap him, or me.
I wanted it to end on his evil laugh.
Sorry. So yes, thank you for coming, Louise. Anything you'd like to plug before we sign off?
No, you should really consider subscribing to Beyond the Box Set if you've enjoyed this episode. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Louise. That was a very charitable plug. So yeah, thank you, Louise, for your time, and thank you Harry, I guess. Thank you for everyone who's listening, and yep, join us next week for Oliver.
Yes.
Cool.
Thank you, already.
Bye.
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 Yes, I love technology, but not as much as you see. But I still love technology, always and forever.